your biggest opportunity, truly since the mid to late 90s, to take advantage of the internet and explode, but use the lessons of history and know how many people poo-pooed or underestimated the internet and allowed that technology to hurt them. You've seen social media be very underestimated 15 years ago. It is the foundation of the reset of geopolitics and commerce across the world. Like, we continue to demonize technologies, but this AI one, this is big. This is not a fad. This is the rest of your life.
Wow. Anybody know who this guy is? Raise hands. Anybody know? Okay. No, you're in the loop. Okay. Follow me on Instagram. Let's see. This is Gary Vee. He is an entrepreneur / guru of everything right now. And he started off by being a salesman, selling things. And then he got on the internet and he was able to promote himself so that now he's a guru. He is now in a lane of AI where he's able to touch millions and millions and millions of people by using the AI tools. Why this is important, because the last time I turned on the TV and I was watching the news, all I see is founders of AI telling me what I'm going to do for the next 5 years, telling me in 2030 that jobs aren't going to be around, telling me what AI is going to do to me, my family, my environment. Have you seen the shift where we used to have experts speaking about that? People that went to college, spent millions, well, I shouldn't say, well, what you say? Interest, yeah. Thousands and thousands of dollars to learn about politics and geospatial things, and all of these guys are just computer scientists. Why that is so important? Because if I see it on the news all the time, and I'm seeing these founders of the 7 biggest companies that own 90 to 30% of the land, as well as the technology, 90 in technology, 30% of the land, we got to start thinking about this, right? So we got to think about me being grandma and listening to my computer science teacher tell me that this thing is going to change the world. And I didn't believe him until he showed me. But the mindset I had, I still could not get into adopting this as a practice. So what I did was, came up with the 3 pillars of positive AI. Positive AI is a human-centered AI aspect. And what that means is we don't look for AI to replace us. We look for AI to help us. We use AI as a tool. It does not use us. And what I mean is, if I need something cut, I have a X-Acto knife and I have a machete. I have to know which one of these to pick in order to get my output I want. And that's the same thing with AI. You have to know what to use and how to use it in order to get the output you want. If you don't understand those things, you're gonna be grandma. Talking about, I don't wanna be, I'm not texting. I remember the first time somebody texted me, I said, why are you texting me when you could just call? Why are you texting me? Now I'd rather text than call people. Am I right? I remember the first email I sent, I said, what is this? Now I send about 10, 15 emails in an hour. In an hour. And we'll talk more about that. So we'll talk about the 3 pillars of the growth mindset, or 3 pillars of positive AI. Start off with the growth mindset. What we want to do is we want to go into learning about AI with a growth mindset. The opposite of a set mindset. So if you have the attitude that AI is going to take my job, let's use AI to help me with my job. So after I got over the grandma stage and finally took a couple of classes in AI and artificial intelligence and machine learning, I asked it. I said, AI, because this is when I was still new to the game, I didn't know about LLMs and all those things. I said, AI, I don't want to lose my job. I talked to it just like this. Tell me what I can do to not just keep my job, but enhance it. Gave me a list. all different things. Get this skill, get this skill, get this skill, get this skill. Now remember, I still didn't know how to prompt it correctly yet. So it gave me a lot of stuff, like go back to school. Come on, man, I got all these degrees already. What do I need to go back to school for, right? But it also has some tangible things like go to the library and get a book. Read the book. Go to Coursera. Go take a class. They're $59. All of these things. And what that allowed me to do is say, okay, this thing might be onto something. Then I said, okay, well, as far as my career, take my career out of it. Tell me something that I can be AI proof and make a lot of money. You know what it told me? It told me to go to school, get some computer science classes, and teach AI. Hence, I'm here, teaching AI 3 years later. Why we need to have that growth mindset is because that growth mindset is going to cultivate our learning optimism. And when we think about learning optimism, we're looking for opportunities. How? We want to know, how can I get this? Why should I have this? These are the questions that you're able to ask, and if you prompt it correctly, which we'll talk about shortly, this could be your expert. And the last one, critical thinking, which is the one that is so important because we are human. We have to evaluate the AI output. This information, I'm going to tell you where it comes from, but it's not coming out of the sky. Well, kind of, sort of. It's not coming from God, I'll tell you that, okay? And a lot of times, people get into it without that critical thinking to think that whatever I put in here is going to give me the correct answer, how I want it, when I want it. Mr. Perkins Omar told me that it was going to give me the right answer. I did not tell you that. I told you that it's going to give you an answer. A good answer, but it might not be the right answer, right? So that's where that learned optimism comes in with the critical thinking. With the growth mindset, all three of those things, work with something. So now that we have went through the 3 pillars, we can now get into exactly how we use the growth mindset. When I first started off, I didn't understand how you could use growth mindset when it comes to technology. But the growth mindset is actually what creates technology. I had a conversation at a panel a couple weeks ago and they said that AI is going to take jobs. It is. It's natural attrition. It's going to take jobs. So I said, name an industry that is going to be affected by AI. They said Lyfts, Ubers, all those type of things because they have autonomous cars. I said, oh, you're right. This is going to take a lot of jobs. But then I said, well, let's think about Uber and Lyft, right? High level. Uber and Lyft are taxis, right? Buses, transportation. So what's the difference between a bus, a cab, Uber and Lyft? Artificial intelligence. So when artificial intelligence came about, someone who had the growth mindset to say, you know what? I could probably do a better job at transporting people around. Matter of fact, it's a problem. Okay, well, let's go ahead, since we got the idea, let's start thinking about the learned optimism part. Okay, now I got the idea. How do we make this come to fruition? Well, you gotta think positive, because what's gonna happen is my idea, when I talk about it, the taxi drivers are gonna wanna get me, right? The bus drivers are gonna get me, right? All of these large companies are gonna come and get me. So I think the learned optimism by saying, okay, well, who can we work with in order to make this come to fruition? What sets us apart from them? And what sets us apart from them is I can see the Uber driver, who it is, when they're getting here, what time they'll drop me off. And I didn't even have to speak to anybody. Only thing I had to do was make sure that my credit card was right and the person's here. So here comes the critical thinking aspect. Somebody else will thought, something happened to me in Uber. I didn't like it. The guy always talks to me when I get in the car. I don't like the drivers talking to me. How can we make this situation better for everybody? Critical thinking. Well, let's use the actual tech that we already use for Uber and enhance it. Now we got cars that drive by themselves. And I tell you what, the first time an Uber came to pick me up, I didn't want to get in the car because I didn't know who the guy was. Now I just get in the car, right? I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago when one of those autonomous cars came. Jaguar, it was nice. Didn't have all the stuff on it. It's not the old ones. We still thinking about the old ones with all those big cameras on it. No camera. No steering wheel. Jaguar. I get in, me and my friend. Scariest thing in the world. At first, by day 3, we making sure that we're getting in the autonomous cars. We don't want to talk to anybody when we get in the car. This car has snacks. This car has snacks. Doesn't have a smell of a person in it. I can change the radio. I can change the thermostat. All of these things, right? Because I went into it with a fixed mindset. Then I start understanding with the growth mindset that, hey, this ain't too bad. He's stopping at lights. Right. And it's so funny because in Vegas, you don't want to cross the street in Vegas, right? Unless it's a place across the street. And there's nowhere to cross the street. You got to walk all the way down, and it looks close. You got to go all the way down, up, back, and then back, right? So, of course, somebody was trying to cross the street. They're sitting in the back seat. I know the car is going to stop. I know that. But the car hasn't stopped yet. But it did stop. I said, wow. All this information that I know is true. Because I don't, technology goes so fast that what I tell you today might not be relevant tomorrow. This doesn't mean that it's not true. It just might not be relevant tomorrow because technology moves so fast. So what we have to do is we have to cultivate a mindset where we're able to start looking at things like the people before us. Don't forget, in 1984, they tried to put Texas Instrument out of business. Do you know why? Anybody? Anybody with the day about it? Anybody? Because they came out with scientific calculators. Y'all remember that? Yeah. Y'all remember that? I work in schools. I don't see anything but scientific calculators. The only people that have regular calculators are the teachers because that's what they give them. Of course. Give them a $45 calculator, give them a $2 calculator with the school name on it. Of course. But there was somebody then. It wasn't AI technology, but it was technology. Right? We're in an opportunity that everybody's in here has seen these large technology firms, right? From the internet. I remember I had a MySpace page and I thought it was couldn't believe it. To play my music on the back, have a graphic on the front. Nobody told me about it though. Nobody told me how to get into it. Nobody told me how to manipulate it. Nobody told me how to integrate it into my lifestyle until it was forced upon me. And that's the problem. That's when we turn into grandma. When it's forced upon me. Why do I have to send an email? I'm faxing this. I'm from that area. I'm sorry. I just hate myself. I'm from that area. Right? I'm from to get an AOL disc in the mail. Come on now, get off the phone. I'm trying to load up. I'm from that area. Nobody told me that a www what it meant. Nobody told me that a .com was where the money is. So I left. I lost out on that one. Then another thing came. Social media. Woo! Hit us fast, didn't it? Ooh, hit us fast. We went from what site do we get on to calling it an app to screen time usage. What? We gotta put our kids on almost a time schedule to use these things that wasn't available like they are now, right? But someone used those 3 pillars to start all of those things. So, now that we've got our mind right, we're thinking better, we're open, just to the thought. Nobody has to use it. We're just open to the thought. Let's talk about machine learning. When we're talking about machine learning, we're talking about pretty much machines that learn. And if you think that you haven't used one, you use one every day. You just use one, and that's your phone. That is the biggest machine learning you have. It has so many different devices on there that learn you. Opening up your phone with your face recognition, with your thumb recognition. It has to know you, has to memorize it to the point that some days the phone might be upside down when you hit your thumbprint, it still works. Machine learning, it's learning. When we go through our phone and we need to find that picture, I got 1,000 pictures of my son and my daughter, but I can put Owen and Olivia in and all of them come up. Then I can put Owen with dog, and the picture with the dogs come up. That's machine learning. The field that you guys in, they use machine learning all the time to make sure that the algorithms are right, to make sure that if something's happening that we catch it on the front end instead of the back end. I just read something where an employee was getting paid an extra $30,000 for 3 years. You think they was using AI? No, they wasn't. So when we start thinking about machine learning, just start thinking about all the things that you use, because I guarantee 9 times out of 10 you're using machine learning. So think of it like something that's going to organize your patterns for you. So your emails, you have things that are sent to your junk, you have things that are sent to your spam, but now with AI, you can type in and make it so that only things that deal with certain subjects come to you. I wake up every day with about 150 emails. I only get to see about 12 of them. Because if it doesn't have my certain terms that I have, my machine learner knows I don't need those. Krispy Kremes knows I'm on a diet, put that over there. Right? Crunch Fitness, they send me something every 5 minutes, put that over there, I need that, I need to see it, I haven't subscribed yet, but I am. Okay? The more I see it, it's been a study that says in order for you to buy something offline, you have to see it close to 700 times. I didn't know that, did you? 700 times. So that's why when you're talking and then you see something on your phone, you think it's listening to you. It's not. It just knows your algorithm, so it's going to keep on giving it to you. It doesn't matter if you talked about the Carnival Cruise last year or this year. But then somehow, some way, you say Carnival Cruise and it comes up on your phone, check your emails. They've been sending you stuff all month. So, machine learning is pretty much here for us so that it can predict for us. It can give us forecasting. And I was thinking about this as far as payroll. My daughter used to work seasonal at Macy's. And I can just imagine what that can do as far as seasonal work and hours and whatnot, how that can play a part in more work for you all. This will help. AI will predict, because it learned how many people you had last year working in the seasonal. And it can predict how many people you're going to have this year working in seasonal. It also can do that when it comes to retail. We ordered this amount last year. We didn't sell this amount last year, so now we need to order this amount. That used to be a person that would do that. Come in and count. Remember inventory? I used to work at Target, and we used to literally have to count. Last time I was in inventory, everybody got one of those things. They beep, beep, they did everything beeping. We used to have to count. Numbers not right. Okay, well, I'm not counting them again. Somebody next year, they just gonna have extra. Right? Classifications, they sort data. Whoa. You guys do CSVs all the time, am I correct? Right? How many y'all do a week? 3, 4, 10? Woo! It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So look, I might be here, me being here might be a detriment to you because I'm going to show you how, in the second part, I'm going to show you how to do a couple of those things. But this is the thing, when you get to work, you can't show them all at once because you will be whatever you have that skill in, that's what you will be. You will be the, what'd you say?
Just me.
Yes. If you were good at creating that PowerPoint, you're the PowerPoint person, right? So take these skills and take your time with them, okay? All right? You don't mind answering questions, but you're not doing anybody's work. So next we have our anomaly detection. So this is a good one also. So this is also good in finances because what this allows you to do is to find those anomalies early. If we had AI in that one company I was talking about, it was 3 years at $30,000, $90,000. If I'm an employee, I'm a God-fearing man. I'm not telling you. I'm not. And by the time you figure it out, just like when I see on the news, they leave, family emergencies, family issues. Okay, 3 months later, we figured out that this $90,000 that was gone and somebody was responsible for it. This is what you use AI for, because these are the things that AI and machine learners are made for. From data to decisions. When we're looking at raw data, like I'm sure you guys see all the time, some of those things can be convoluted depending on what the numbers are. What I mean is last year's numbers aren't this year's numbers, and we have to go through all those numbers to make sure that we can see the discrepancies or the likenesses. This is what machine learners are used for. And what I like to say is, you have humans and you have AI. When I think about humans, I'm thinking about a sports car, right? It goes fast, right? It gets you where you need to go. It looks good. But then when you think about AI, I think about dump trucks, right? It's here to get you can't put dump truck stuff inside of a Corvette. Therefore, the dump truck does all the heavy lifting, right? It doesn't look good, but it does all the heavy lifting for you. And this is how you gotta start thinking about it when you want to save time if you want to. Okay, AI is everywhere. It impacts us every day. We're talking about digital assistants, chat bots, we're talking about e-commerce for fraud detection, we're talking about inventory management, and we're talking about the number one is healthcare. Healthcare is number one, finance is number two. Then we start talking about what we just talked about, the autonomous vehicles, self-driving navigation, and safety decisions. We also have entertainment, so we'll talk about those two things shortly. We got AI, ML isn't just for tech giants. It's accessible to anybody. It's actually here for us to be more innovative. So, let's talk about generative AI. That's the buzzword that everybody's been talking about, right? Now, when we talk about generative AI, we're really talking about a form of tech that allows you to tell the tech exactly what you want for the output by words. And if any computer people in here know that in order to talk to another computer, you have to use coding, right? Ones and zeros. Well, what has happened is now that we're able to use vibe coding, which is actually just prompting, in order to get what we want out of the AI agent or tech you're using. And when we talk about prompting, we have to first talk about large language models. Large language models are a form of tech in AI that is trained on massive databases, texts and codes and algorithms and parameters, and it works by keeping all that information, right? All of those databases, all of those algorithms, so that it's able to produce an output. I won't go into the details of how it produces the output because we got to talk about neural networking and all those things. We'll keep it high level. But what we're talking about is being able to create by using words instead of code. And when we talk about LLMs, we talk about Gemini, ChatGPT, Copilot. Those are forms of LLM, large language models. Those large language models only work by natural language processors. Those are NLPs. Does anybody have a Alexa or Google at the house? Have you ever talked to it in a way that you said something that gave you something completely different? You say, forget it. What is it, Alexa? Is that yours, Alexa? Google? Yeah, they both actually trash right now. But that's going to go so fast. So right now, that is a basic, what they call a basic chatbot. What you have to do is tell it something because it's generative, and generative is reactive, okay? So you have to tell it something and it gives you something back. Well, Alexa and Google, in the next 6 months, you're going to be able to tell it to do something like buy my plane ticket. We'll talk about that in a second. So with NLPs, you are the conductor. What you say matters. How you say it matters. But you can say it a certain way and it'll still understand. So generative AI in action. So when we talk about generative AI, we talk about drafting emails, creating books, anything that would be text related. When we talk about LLMs, we can also use prompting to create images. We can create it to design. We can use our prompts to make it your visual, right? And what I mean by that is, you can say, show me a dog. And it'll show you a dog. But then you can put a picture of your dog in and tell it to say, hey, make this dog have a hat, right? Or combine this dog with my son, right? My mother, she just turned 79 in August. And sorry, I got a lot of birthdays. In August, and what we did was we took her grade school picture, her middle school picture, her high school picture, her college graduation picture, and a recent picture, and we merged it all together. Man, my mother, the gratitude was just so much, and I was able to do that from prompting. Didn't have to go to a company and tell them to do it and wait for the graphic designer, because everybody knows a good graphic designer ain't nothing. Woo, it's hard to get them folks. Had to go to a graphic designer, I didn't have to print it out. I was able to do all these things from the comfort of my home in like 10, 15 minutes, because I understood that with generative AI, I can make visuals. Code writing. This is the best part. If you need a website, you need a site page. Now you don't have to go through a graphic designer. You don't have to go through a web computer designer. You can literally go on an app and create your own website in 5 minutes.